Good morning, everyone. This is Tara Lee Live, and we are live on YouTube today. We are here with my co-host, Drake, as always. Hello, Drake. How are you today?
Doing fantastic. Had a little bit of a sleep in, was awfully busy out at the farm transplanting yesterday. And as always, I'm excited to come and chill and sesh and talk about what we've been doing and chat with Eric here. Who do you got today for us, Tara?
Well, we have Eric from Farm X. I'm super excited to be chatting with him. He is our lab guru. Let me tell you, he has got some cool shit to be talking to us about today. Hello, Eric. How are you?
Hey, thanks for having me, guys. How's it going?
Oh, fantastic. I'm ready to get a dab on. Let's all get this dab on. I'm going to get top chat pulled out. Oh, not top chat. Remember, if you're tuning in live with us today, make sure you pop out that chat and chat along, and make sure you have it on live chat, not top chat, or you will miss some of the comments. So I just got all my rigs cleaned. I'm ready to go. I realized that I have this lemon gelato or lemon. What does this say? I can't even freaking read it, Drake.
Let's see. Lemon do-si-do, I bet. Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
That's what I was thinking. Oh, there it goes. It's clear now.
What do you think of those terpene complexes, Eric? What do you think? Beta-caryophyllene, D-limonene, beta-myrcene, linalool, alpha-humulene.
Looks tasty. Looks like a good time.
No, I got a question for you, Eric, just because I'm much less versed in this area. But I've been curious because obviously we have the different companies now that are actually giving us these results, the different let's just say main terpenes that they're finding in the products, which is awesome because then we have kind of better understanding of what we personally enjoy. But now I'm wondering, just from things like how recently on Hash Church, the one folk, I forget the gentleman's name, but he pretty much was like, yeah, we know the hops genome is encompassed in the cannabis genome. We've got hundreds.
I forgot to go watch that.
You got to watch that. Everyone watch it.
Go
check it out. The most recent.
What was that? Last week's Hash Church?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Yeah, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
So anyways, they dropped the bomb there. There's the hops genome is encompassed in the cannabis genome, and the guy who's been working with the hops, he's like, yeah, we know there's hundreds of terpenes in hops. So that kind of just blew the roof off the 100 and some odd terpenes that were known to be in cannabis. So now we've got many more. So what I'm leading into is, do we potentially have labs that don't have all the correct standards that are testing, that are like giving us kind of a rough guesstimate of what terpenes are the majority ones, because they maybe don't have the standards to identify the different ones? Or where do we stand at that level?
Yes. So that would be my first question when they say, oh, we've got hundreds of terpenes and hops. It's like, well, first, where are you getting this stuff tested? Most cannabis labs have typically less than 30 terpenes they're testing for. Some that we've gone to have upwards of 50, even though it is known that hemp typically has 90 plus terpenes, and the THC strains can have, upwards of 130. To get that testing, you need to send it off to like a fragrance lab or a lab from another industry. And it's really expensive. And the only time I've actually had my stuff tested by those labs is we work with a couple large terpene companies that I don't think I'm supposed to name, but I haven't signed an NDA, so maybe I can. And they signed our stuff off. They sent our stuff off and paid for testing because they use it in their formulation. And yeah, there's a lot more terpenes in there than we're testing for, but also there's the isomers of those terpenes, and there's dimers of those terpenes, which is the chemical name for when you have two molecules that are the same but act with each other to make a new molecule.
Oh, interesting.
So like myrcene has dimers, which is like a degradation product. You've got oxidized versions of terpenes. And then you've also got, I mean, when I first learned about terpenes, I thought there were the monoterpenes and the triterpenes and the sesquiterpenes present. And that's true to some extent, but really the monoterpenes turning into triterpenes and sesquiterpenes. And then there's other things coming off there. And then one of the aforementioned terpene companies I was talking to that's pretty deep in this says, the flavors and the entourage effect isn't all coming from the terpenes necessarily. There's sterols and flavonoids and all sorts of stuff. Like
esters is big. I'm interested to learn more
esters, terpene esters. So I mean, we're really only touching the tip of the iceberg. And then when you look at it that way, you have to wonder who's even testing properly. I mean, sure, you can have the standards, but what if one peak, like with Delta 8, we were reading a lot of peaks together because they weren't able to properly separate the peaks with HPLC. They needed to change their methods. And for instance, we have one set of terpenes that we set up. They're steam distilled, water clear. I know Tara said we've seen them. I don't know if you've ever tried our terps. I'll send you some if you haven't, Drake. They're pretty nice. But basically, we sent them out to one lab, and they were like, okay, it's literally 100% terpenes, and here's what they all are. And they accounted for 100% of it and listed like 55 terpenes. And then another lab was like, oh, there's 70% terpenes. And I was like, well, they're water clear, and we froze them, and nothing fell out. And, you know, what's that other 30%? And we're like, oh, we just couldn't identify it. So, you know, there's going to be variance between labs. And then we had a different lab take the same thing and come at 93%. And they had some terpenes pop up that the other labs weren't showing, and vice versa. And then we took it to another lab who came back and told us it was like 13% terpenes. And I was like, well, that's not right at all. And then basically they told us, you know what, we looked back at it and we've never actually run pure terpenes before. And I think they said I overloaded their column or something like that. Maybe they hadn't diluted it enough properly. I'm not really a testing guy, an analytics guy, but some people, I mean, if you don't have the proper standards, if you don't have the proper testing techniques, if you don't know what you're looking for, you can only find what you're looking for, which you either have to have the standards for or some sort of like MSGC catalog, you know, because the mass specs will have like an online catalog they can reference. Yeah, it's really difficult. And at the moment, we don't really know anything for sure. I mean, some things, but like, I don't know. I surely don't think that the top 5 terpenes present is super, super valuable information compared to all the other information that's there behind it. But we don't even know what questions to ask right now.
With the potential of like those top 5 just being potentially those multiple lines being read as one because there's not the proper standards yet. And like that was what I'm really interested for when you go back and watch this episode, because we had Mark Scaldone and Dave Skunkman Sam checking essentially this individual for information just about the testing, right? Just being like, well, do you have this? And that's because same thing, they're obviously very fluent understanding there's so many standards and so many ways to not do things properly. And they seemed very educated and kind of had a response for every question. And it seemed like they were kind of both satisfied by the answers, because they're being with hops and being the route they were going. It definitely seemed like they were more like working with really high level fragrance testing companies and like going that route already. So like the standards and stuff they had access to is just so much more in depth than what's generally available in the cannabis industry. So it was pretty cool. But then just thinking about all that, I was like, obviously most labs that people are going to be sending their gear off to get tested is going to be whatever ABC lab that most likely just has some basic rundown, the average understanding of the stuff, and there would be a lot of potential for things to be like, you know, I think it's got some of this, a little bit of that, a little dash of this, and
yeah, and Dr. Mark, the level that he's on in testing just supersedes anything that you'd be able to get just as a standard commercial test. I mean, I've sent him stuff before. They run NMR. I mean, they're partnered with DuPont. They're like on the same campus as DuPont. They're big money science. So they're on a whole nother level that I don't even think a lot of the fragrance labs are touching. You'd have to work with the university, a large chemical company, to get that level of testing, which I'd love to see move into the cannabis space eventually, but we're already getting hurt with the price of testing. I mean, any cost of test is basically passed on to the patient or consumer, whatever we're calling ourselves at this point. So I'd love to see some of the testing on the hops, because I mean, if we're able to extract the terpenes, and I'd also like to see not only what they have, but the ratios and the concentration. Because I mean, if they have it in a large enough amount, I mean, why aren't we steam distilling hops? I mean, I guess they have something special bred. If I did it right now, I'd just get a bunch of humulene, I'm sure, and
personally, when I go on a hop farm, I've been to a couple of hop farms. There's one of the biggest hop farms just south of me in Yakima. And I don't think raising hops is that economical. To put in a hop field you've got to put in those big poles. You got to put in these ropes every year to tie each one down. I'm not quite sure of their harvest equipment. I've never been around the harvest part.
No, they do it by hand.
It can't possibly be economical to even grow the amount of this stuff. We're going to have fields of cannabis in the future, y'all. Sorry, it's not going to be on hops.
We've already got fields of cannabis.
That's what it's going to be. It's not going to be a field of hop with terpenes. Sorry, it's just not going to be. Well, but whatever.
Shit. Look at states like Oklahoma right now that don't have a cap on their square footage. I mean, there's acreage of THC at the moment, and in other countries we're seeing it too. It's too easy. I mean, it's expensive to harvest and expensive to dry, but I mean, the yield you could get per acre compared to hops blows it out of the water. And then hops, cannabis is illegal, so we'll grow hops. It's like, well, it's the THC that's illegal. So
yeah, we've transversed a little bit in the exact same episode. They also dropped the bomb that there's been a successful cannabis to hops breeding cycle. They had to do some stuff to make it work. But yeah, so that's how we're saying we've now got hops that's got like 12 to 17% THC, 5 to 8% CBD. But then when it gets back to it, we start talking about, as Tara mentions, the processing and dealing with it, and how Eric's explaining here, it doesn't seem like it's necessarily going to be super economical to try to like phase out cannabis to get hops to grow cannabinoids. But it's still super interesting that we've found this many terpenes in hops, but we know hops is contained within the cannabis genome, and that part excites me a lot.
Yeah, they're cousins, and that's when you and I, when we talked privately about this a couple days ago, I asked if David Skunkman Sam was on the chat, because I know a couple times over the years people have brought up a hop cannabis hybrid, and he's shot that down. But
no, it's interesting.
It'll be interesting to see the conversation with him in it.
Exactly.
Oh, what do you got up there, Tara?
Some CBDA.
I'm showing off your webpage, not your webpage. I'm showing off your Instagram page. So everybody, if you want to go follow Eric at FarmX, just letting you know, here's his Instagram page. I'm going to give you some pictures here to go by. Did you want me to bring up anything specific, or Eric, did you get to take a dab, or did Drake just go right in and
I've been looking for my dab tool. I need to go find my dab tool.
Okay, why don't you go find your dab tool? I'm going to stop sharing. We're going to say hello to chat. We're going to give you a minute. We're going to say hello to chat here, and we'll give Eric a minute. Oh, can you believe this? My top chat got changed back. I'm now back on live chat, y'all. So sorry if I missed any comments out there. How are you doing today? We're going to have some lab talk with Eric today. Super excited to go down this avenue because I don't get to talk to too many people that work in the lab. I don't have a lab myself. I personally have never done BHO extractions. I personally have only done solventless extractions, which I love, and I love to smoke. Speaking of which, shall we go in for another dab? I want to go in another one on this other one. What did I say this one was? I can't remember. Lemon something?
Lemon dosi.
There's so many different things that they're naming dosi now, and Delato.
That's a Girl Scout cookie.
Oh my gosh. Well, this is pretty good. I like it. It's pretty good. Who else is smoking with me out there? Y'all ready to smoke? It's going to be 4:20 somewhere in 5 minutes, but I'm going to do a pre one because normally I'm late. So we'll just go in for that. We'll make up for all those late ones. How you doing out there? We got Bingo. We got Dave. Hey, Dave, how you doing? We got Stu with us. Fried Piper. Why did I call you Pepper? Fried Pepper. I like that too.
Dave's not here, man.
Dave's here. Honestly,
no, Dave's not here, man.
Is it a raise?
Hi, Ian. How are you? What's going on? How are you? What's everybody smoking on today? Did I miss anybody? If I missed, just say hello in chat. Don't want to leave you out. Cheers. Hi, Gruesome.
Classic
How are you?
Teddy Pendergrass.
Oh, I didn't clean the banger. Let's clean the banger.
Oh, nice.
I could grab another rim.
Juicy.
It is. It's terpy. This stuff, I mean, we extracted it live, but I mean, going on 6 months, 8 months ago, something like that. And it's still just as terpy as ever.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I'm dealing with some really caustic stuff now. We have the terp fraction, and I separated the sauce off, so now I've got like kind of a little secondary seeding portion.
Hey, that's a good time too.
She's boating.
Dave says he's still here.
They're still here, man.
Bingo's smoking some GG4 and Jaeger. I call it Jaeger, but it's Jaeger, huh?
Jaeger.
Is it Jaeger or Jaeger?
Jaeger.
I'd have to ask a German.
I like GG4 now, by the way. I didn't used to like GG4. There was a cultivar out there that I tried a GG4 and I didn't actually like it, but I tried some other one and I really liked it. So
why do I hear
it's really hard. All of these strain reviews online, I feel like are just bullshit. Like I could tell you right now about this lemon one and you're going to have one somewhere else and it's not going to taste the same. So I don't know about all these strain reviews that everybody's doing.
Well, it only counts if it's cut only, because you got the specific phenos. And then after that, you still have all the variables. What if I took this cut and I grew it outdoors? What if I grew it indoors with salt? Exactly. What if I grew it indoors under one of those special bulbs that makes it look to the plant like we're in Jamaica? I mean, I think there's a lot of variables there. And then you've got, the grower and the temperature and all sorts of stuff. What kind of sugars it got and when in the life cycle.
Just gonna comment on that too, right? It's such a just specifically that too being a clone only to start and it being like the fucking gassy and kind of starting that wave from like around here. And now it's like experienced quite a few and it's like I'm getting these weird citrusy kind of mimosa-esque things. I'm like, Gorilla Glue 4. I don't know if that's Gorilla Glue 4, but okay, sure.
Well, I think what we need is, and I started a fight in another chat recently by bringing up blockchain, but I think we need blockchain. I think we need blockchain in cannabis because let's look at VeChain, a supply chain tracking blockchain. What we could do is let's say you have a plant, you get the genome tested, you have that on the blockchain as an NFT. It's a non-fungible, it's a single, this is the genome, and then here's the mother plant. And then if somebody gets a clone, they get a fucking token or some sort of thing to say, hey, this is from this plant. And then anytime they give it to somebody else or sell it to somebody else, whether it's as a flower, as the cut, whether they use it to breed, get seeds, that gets tracked on the blockchain. And if you have Gorilla Glue number 4 and you can't trace it all the way back, show somebody your token or your wallet and say, this is how I got this Gorilla Glue number 4, why should I believe you? Because sure, Phylos can have a genome listed and say, this we tested and has the same genome as this. But then what's to stop you from losing that plant and selling me a similar pheno? Or somebody lying, or somebody getting things mixed up? I mean, I guess even with the blockchain, you can have things get mixed up and then have some issues. But you want to be able to track it, because then if it does get mixed up, you could go back and find out when it stopped being Gorilla Glue and started being mimosa
or whatever. Yeah, exactly. Some sort of bit more like rhyme or reason to it, a little bit more certainty, but then being something that's a bit more open and not as intimidating or scary as Phylos to a lot of people.
Yeah, well, I think blockchain technology is still scary to a lot of people. That was the conversation I had earlier this week. As I was in a meeting with the Oregon Cannabis Commission subcommittee that I'm a part of, and we were talking about alternatives to metric, because the metric tracking system's been detrimental to the growers and the patients and the system in general. And it's kind of a cookie cutter thing that doesn't necessarily fit all the systems that they've thrown it into. And I was like, well, why don't we look at some blockchain options like VeChain? And this older lady who's in technology fields, but not currently, started yelling at me.
You got that worked up, eh?
Yeah, she was like, here's your fucking problem. You guys are always trying to throw solutions without actually having, a list of problems, and you're trying to do another one size fits all, and I don't know.
Interesting.
She got very aggressive very quickly, literally cut me off while I was talking and went from not talking to yelling, which I don't think would happen outside of a Zoom call.
Eric, You're not following along chat. So y'all, if you have any questions, direct them this way. Eric can't see chat. So just so you know, they love your shirt. Dope.
And I'm
shirt.
kind of bad too.
That's a bad shirt. I didn't even notice it till someone said, I'm like, oh my God. Yeah. Let me screen share here. I'm gonna screen share you guys so you can all see what
it's from ETS, Extraction Tech Services. They make really overpriced closed loops that I'd never buy. But they're cool guys and slick machines.
Very cool shirt. I think Gruesom's an artist too, so I think that means a lot because he said that. So yeah.
Well,
cheers.
I appreciate
cheers,
it.
Gruesome. I'm ready for another dab. Eric, this conversation is great. We were also talking, you were saying something about Elon Musk and CBD. I didn't put that out there, by the way. Did you want to talk about that a little bit?
Oh, I think Drake might appreciate this.
Tara
was asking what we should call the YouTube video, and I said, urgent, Elon Musk tweet crashes the price of CBD. Must watch.
Oh my goodness, right?
Yeah. Anybody that's not into crypto right now, that's all the crypto videos on YouTube. It's like what do they call it? A really clickbaity picture with like a graph going down into the red and just something about Elon Musk.
Yeah, I don't want to.
If you're not in on the joke,
I'm not ready.
He basically
for the
crashed the whole crypto market. No, you got to get your clickbait up. You got to get people clicking on it.
You know what? My all my followers, which I love you all. Thank you everybody for being here today and every time you show up, because I have all you regulars. I love you guys all. You're just awesome. And I'm not looking for that chat where there's just lots of people and it's going by really fast. I'm looking for the real family, the really true tribe that wants to be here, that wants to have a conversation, that wants to talk to one another, that feels like a safe place to hang out and smoke. And that's really why I'm trying to get like a regular show going on Wednesdays and Saturdays at 9:00. Try to sit here, hang out, smoke, drink your coffee, chill, chat, whatever you want to do. And I just think it's a nice time that people could finally kind of come together as a cannabis community, because we don't get to have cannabis events, and if you do, you don't get to really talk at them. And there's always business stuff at them. They're not really for medical patients, I find, most of these conferences, which that's okay. You businessmen need to do your business. So go ahead.
What do you do on the 4th of July?
I have no clue. That's like coming up pretty soon.
Yeah. That last event I went to in Washington, that was still a couple hours away from you.
Oh, are they doing it again on the 4th?
Yeah, on the 4th.
Oh, what?
It'll be good smoke.
Okay, well, there might be another 4th of July event going on at another grow that I've been invited to every year and I haven't went. So I don't want to say anything because maybe it's not going on this year, but I want to find out for sure. But I told them I would go this year, and I think it is on the 4th, but if they have it on the following, because sometimes it things, maybe I can do 2 weekends in a row. That would be fun.
Yeah, let's see. The 4th
I would love to get out and take you guys.
The 4th is a Sunday.
Yeah, we'll have to look at that. Well, we can talk about that offline. But anyways, everybody doesn't need to talk about our planning. What else, Eric? What else? What's new in the lab?
Well,
does anybody have any questions?
I think you wanted to talk about the alkaline beam test.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of cool.
You want to play that video? Can you pin the Instagram page again?
Okay, now let me go back to your Instagram page here.
Yeah, so I guess I can talk about that briefly while you're pulling it up. So back in like 1910 or something like that, there was a scientist named maybe Alfred Beam. His last name was Beam, and he developed 2 tests, an acid beam test and an alkaline beam test. And we're using the alkaline beam test here, which is what it sounds like, an alkaline test developed by someone named Beam. So we took a 5% ethanol solution of potassium hydroxide, which is lye, like what they put on the guy's hand in Fight Club. And we put in 2 concentrates because I mixed up 2 jars and didn't want to do a bioassay. I didn't want to smoke them to figure out which was which. So to find out which one was the high CBD jar, which is the one on the left, if you can tell by it turning more purple. We had a colorimetric test. We had a colorimetric reaction to the CBD. And you can tell the one on the right still had some CBD present. there wasn't any CBD present, it would have been like a much lighter peach color, or maybe even uncolored. But it's a pretty cool test if you're pheno hunting, specifically for high CBD, or if you mix up your stash.
How long was that process in general? Like, how long did it take for it to like, probably what, 50 minutes, half an hour type thing, or a little longer?
15 minutes to really get the full test. I think this is a time lapse of over like 15 or 20 minutes, and you can really see the one on the left get dark purple. But honestly, within a matter of 2 minutes, you can have a pretty good idea of what's going on. Like, you can see if you focus on the bottom, you can see the purple on the bottom left getting pretty pronounced before it spreads up and colors the rest of the vial, and gets homogeneous. So that's a pretty fun one. We used that originally in the lab because we were doing CBD to delta 8 reactions, and we wanted to know when our reaction was done. So you keep pulling a little out, you do a test, and when it stops turning purple, then you no longer have CBD present. You've converted all of your CBD into its isomers or whatever other side reactions you got.
What are you showing us here, Eric?
So that nasty brown concentrate is one of my competitors that I picked up off the shelf. And then this nice clean one, which is the same exact stuff I'm smoking right now that I just dabbed, that's our CBDA live resin. That's nice. Available in the recreational shops. Yeah, that same one right there. So that was just showing off kind of that we're making nicer, cleaner extracts, because I'm not sure if you saw not only the color, like I'm not necessarily turned off by like an amber extract, but it was like had like a shimmer on top and it was waxy and
I've tried some of those fake CBD things and they are nasty. Like I bought one at one of the shows I went to and it was nasty. Like it was bad.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of most of the hemp concentrates out there. And one of the reason is most hemp concentrates have to be below 0.3.
Woo-hoo,
so my wedding day, yeah.
Who knew you could clean up so nice?
I can clean up.
Woo!
Oh, you lost my concentration. I forgot what I was
talking about. Damn! Look at you.
Oh, you like my little skirt move?
Okay, I just had to throw those in there.
That's my mom.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, I've got all those pictures right next to me on the fridge.
Sorry, I just had to do it. Oh, look at this. Look what we got going on in here.
So
check
that's
this next picture out.
CBG, that's cannabigerol that we're distilling from CBG crude. And it just crashes instantly. So you can see basically you can go from right to left. And you can see kind of
so right here.
Yeah, so that's the initial crash. So you can see what the distillate looked like before it started crashing. And then we got like these weird,
it looks
like
clear.
trichomes. They look more like trichomes than mushrooms.
That's like mushrooms. Yeah, that's cool.
And then basically as we kept distilling, we were only able to keep the top inch or so liquid, just because as it went below like 80, 90 degrees Fahrenheit, it crashed. So that was always a fun one, CBG distillate. I wish that stayed up in value a little. That's the terp fridge, one of them.
And those are big bottles, you guys. Those aren't little bottles.
Oh, those are liters. That was like a 12 or 20 liter order. Typically, they live in larger like gallon jugs in a -40 chest freezer. I think that might have been our first CBGA isolate that we did. Or it was really early on in the CBGA isolate. And that's the Cbga Crumble.
Yeah, I have some of that.
Yeah. I thought that would take off more just because it's so interesting looking.
I think it would if it was everything together.
Yeah. I mean, it looks like bubble hash and it tastes like bubble hash. It just doesn't necessarily get you stoned.
Doesn't
like
do anything. Yeah. Just kind of,
nah.
But maybe it was doing something that I didn't know,
THC
right?
And then kept the same look. But that's the problem. All of our shit has to be below 0.3, and then we have this very small market that we're able to take stuff up to 5%. That's what I was saying a second ago before I got distracted with my wedding pictures. Was we're allowed to get up to 5% THC in our CBD products. Me personally, because we have a license for it. And before that, there was no CBD BHO. This was all too hot. There was no CBD rosin. The CBD RSO not rosin, RSO, like we'd water it down with MCT oils. It was more of a tincture than anything. So it's opened a lot of doors for us. And the couple other people that are taking advantage of the legal loophole, our system rather, that's allowing them to get CBD products up to 5% THC into the stores, it's garbage. I mean, there's like 3 or 4 other brands doing it, and it's trash. And, you know, I'm not a huge CBD fan. I'm not like the CBD guy by any means, but if you are going to be smoking hemp products, I mean, why should you do garbage?
Well, of course, right? You're probably going to want the best of the best if you're going to already be going down that route.
And like I said a second ago, I'm not the biggest CBD guy, but that's probably because in the past, all the CBD I've had, you know, doesn't have any THC in it. And this past couple months that I've been smoking this CBD live resin that's 5% THC, you know, it's been my preferred morning smoke or daytime smoke. It'll take the edge off my coffee. It won't really make me crave cannabinoids as much, but I won't get as cloudy. Or maybe in the middle of the day, if I'm smoking THC all day, I'll get a little more tired. And I don't have time for naps. So, and honestly, it's helped my tolerance because I'll dab the CBDA throughout the day at like 5% THC. And then in the evening, when I do a fat THC dab, you know, it really makes those evening dabs pop a little more. I mean, not that
I like that.
Morning dab pop isn't good too. I mean, they're both good. It's just like when you get your first real hit of THC in the day, it's a little different.
Yeah, and unless you're eating like baseline and eating grams all day long. Go ahead, Tara.
I just kind of wanted to talk about the CBD again, because people out there right now, if you're looking for any CBD, you can contact Eric on his website and pick this up. This is, I bought 2 of these, and this is already what this is. This one's just unopened. So I'm going to open this jar already that I've opened. And this is just kind of what isolate looks like. For those of you that don't know, it's just like a powdery type substance. And this is just CBD. And there you go. And you can make your own CBD capsules at home. You can make your own stuff at home so much cheaper. If any of you are looking to buy CBD or you're buying it now, you can make it your own easy way for like, what is it a gram, Eric? What do you sell it for a gram?
Less than $1.
$1 a gram, you guys.
Or less. I mean,
which let's tell them what a gram is. That's 1,000 milligrams. 1 gram of CBD. 1 gram of CBD is 1,000 milligrams. You guys should be getting 1,000 milligrams every time you buy something, and it should be what, $10? I would say $10 if somebody made it.
So on our website, we sell 1,000 milligram tincture, I think for $9. And I mean, honestly, I've been thinking about doing them for free with any other purchase, or like, you know,
that's cool. I don't know. The idea. I love the thought process.
It doesn't cost anything. And I'm not sure if anyone on here follows the Future 4200 Instagram. That's
yes. In fact, that's why I wanted to talk about this today. And I was bringing the coconut oil up. Thanks.
I saw you had the jar, and that's what made me think of Dustin. Dustin's Future, whatever you know him by.
Future 4200.
Really awesome guy.
Yes.
And runs the Future 4200 forum, and is I'd consider him a friend, at least an industry peer. And he posted the other day, I think he put 100 grams of CBD in a jar of coconut oil, about half the size of the one you have there, and made it, I think he said for his grandpa or some elderly friend with some sort of medical issue, and basically said, this costs $35 to make. Why aren't we seeing this? Why aren't we seeing 100,000 milligrams? 100 grams is 100,000 milligrams in a small thing. And that means you can take like a teaspoon or whatever and get 500 milligrams or 1,000 milligrams or whatever. Mm-hmm. So I think we should see more of that. I think we should see a lot more heavy duty.
So this is
especially with the CBD, because with the CBD, a lot of times you'll see 10 milligrams per dose. But I don't think that does anything. Like, for instance, I give my dog like 100 milligrams at a time at least, and she doesn't even get lethargic.
Uh-oh, did I lock up?
I think so.
Doesn't look like the screen's moving.
Oh my God, what's going on? I'm totally locked up. I can't move it off here. I can't do anything.
More CalMag.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
And we work with a couple people with horses too. That's one thing we've been working on lately. And when we're doing our market research, all this horse CBD, the super low dosage, like fractions of a milligram per kilogram of body weight, like 10, 20, 50 milligram doses. And you know, these two ladies I'm working with that have horses said they weren't really getting the results they wanted until 300 to 500 milligrams.
I mean, that does make sense to me, or at least it's not too hard to fathom. And just in the context of general with just CBD itself, we have pretty high applications. We're finding even with certain younger children with these specific epilepsy and these certain conditions where they're taking thousands of milligrams a day, if not multiple times throughout the day to hold that baseline. So it's definitely makes sense. And with large, like, I mean, with any animals, you have to be careful. With dogs specifically, especially with the full spectrum, they got really sensitive systems. But yeah, with CBD isolate itself, I think we've got a fair threshold to play with.
Drake, I literally, can you hear me?
Yep,
I can hear you.
You're back, and I see you, but we've got futures page up. So
I literally have no control.
Oh, now your voice is gone too.
Oh yeah, actually, you know what, Tara, you did. We just lost you for a second, not long, but just a quick second. So something's unhappy on Tara's end.
Oh no!
Oh my!
I don't know what to do. I don't know if I leave, if it's gonna come. I can't even click on anything right now.
Well, I know I've got the power, so you could try leaving and popping back quick and see what happens.
I can't even click on a square.
Oh well, there we go. I think everyone just gets to look at the future plug, even though you don't. Oh, there you at the bottom. You see the link tree link. Everyone gets a good enough plug. Go check it out. If you haven't checked out Future 4200 yet, now you have to, because you've been looking at it for 10 minutes.
Oh my God. I don't know what to do. Anybody have any ideas?
I feel like that link tree is longer than his domain. The domain's just future4200.com.
Oh no, y'all.
Maybe a link tree does something I don't understand.
I'd say fire up a dab, Tara. That's probably one of the
I'm going to restart, I guess. A hard restart?
Hard restart, and we'll do hard dabs. And
okay, we'll be back if it goes off, you guys. Sorry. Take a dab for me.
When in Rome.
Oh, we're dabbing. We're dabbing all right.
What size?
So you're the host, Drake?
Now I'm taking over. I feel the power. And I was gonna say, what size is for everyone out there? What size dog do you have roughly?
She's like, just took her to the bed. I should know. Probably like 50 pounds. She's like cool. a little pit bull. She's like a hefty, medium-sized dog.
All right. Well, that's good for context, just so everyone, just for weight wise and for milligrams. It's going to be so specific to every individual pet, and for what their needs are. But yeah, that's a cool baseline.
I recently put 2 grams of CBD in 20 mils of peanut butter, which is a, let me see if I have the syringe here.
Cheers, everyone. Hope you're sneaking a dab.
So it was basically a little over a tablespoon, because a tablespoon's 15 mils and this is 20 mils. So I did like a tablespoon and a third of peanut butter and melted it and stirred in 2 grams of CBD. And I've been using it to give her pills, you know. So I'll just squirt some of that on a pill. And I think I've been giving her about 1 to 2 mils at a time, which by that math should be 100 or 200 milligrams of CBD at a time, which I've never seen another pet product that high. And she seems fine.
And another thing, generally, if it's listed for animals, for pets, and it's you know, these products that are specifically for pets, I get a bit of a red flag. The CBD isolate is CBD isolate, and if you're making products from there's no reason what you take shouldn't be good for our pets, and vice versa. What do you feel about that, Eric?
So I think you got a good point, and that anything that's marketed for pets that's just a tincture probably means they're doing it half the strength and twice the cost, just because there seems to be a premium for pet products. I mean, CBD already seems to have a premium. But a lot of the pet tinctures I see, it's a 1 ounce or 2 ounce bottle with like 200 to 500 milligrams in it. One thing I would say makes sense would be they make flavorings for dogs. I wouldn't want a chicken flavored tincture. Maybe peanut butter flavor.
That's a good point.
Like they have liver flavoring. Like just because I've done research, and the same people that sell strawberry flavoring or whatever sell liver flavoring and chicken flavoring, and I'm sure there's other gross dog flavors that you and I might not like. But I think for the most part, what people should be doing is mixing their own stuff.
That's not cool. That's not cool.
Because it's so inexpensive. Like CBD costs nothing. I mean, like, and if you use any large amount of it, go buy at least 100 grams, half a kilo, whatever. I mean, it's costs nothing. And then you can actually dose yourself properly. But if you're going and buying $60 tinctures that have 10, 15, 20 milligrams in a dose, it's like, what are you doing? And you shouldn't feel stupid for doing that in the past if you have. It's just like,
well, it's not a consumer thing. It's the producers that are screwing everyone around and taking advantage of patients that don't know any better, which is just even more infuriating.
I mean, Drake, how much did CBD isolate cost by the kilo 3 or 4 years ago? $30,000?
Yeah, insane. And then
it dropped to 10, and then it dropped to 3, and then it dropped to 1. And now if somebody's trying to sell you a kilo of CBD for $1,000, they're ripping you off. It's like literally 50, 60 cents a gram. If you're buying it by the kilo.
Yep.
And then that means you could make a 10,000 milligram whatever for $5.
And that's instead of spending your $60 for your 1,000 milligram fucking little tincture made with not even the nicest MCT oil on the market.
So let's do this math again. If 1,000 milligrams, if 1,000 milligrams is a gram, and there's 1,000 grams in the kilo, if they were buying the kilo for $30,000, that means that's $30 a gram. And then you have your $1 of MCT oil, your $1 bottle, your $1 label. You got to pay your employees, you get some stuff tested. Then your starting cost is $35, $40 plus dollars. And then it makes sense to sell a tincture for 60, 80, 100 bucks, whatever. It's just not the case anymore. It's just like, it's the producers who are being greedy, and not even the labs. Because like I said, the labs have come down, what is that, 600%, 6,000% down in price. I mean, mainly to compete with each other. But it's what Sam and Bubble Man have been saying for years. I mean, the price of cannabis should not cost more than the price of comparable tomatoes. And then you could even take it a step further and say, well, it's a dried farm processed product, so maybe sun-dried tomatoes, which, by the pound could be $30 or more. It's just, I think it just doesn't make sense for us to keep charging these prices. And the farmers have come down and the labs have come down. So at this point, it's all the unregulated or semi-regulated shops. Some of them are mom and pop, some of them are, a little bit bigger. But I mean, nobody should still be charging $60 for a bottle of tincture or $80. And I bet you and I could go on the internet right now and find way more expensive stuff.
You're muted. Eric,
we've still got $40 to $60 grams of CBD being sold at some of the gray market shops around here. But go ahead, Dara.
So I purchased this a bit back from you. What should this is a half a kilo, right?
I believe so.
Because it was 2 of them was 1 kilo, right?
Yeah,
I got from you. So I got this from Eric. Someone was asking in chat where I got it. It's all lab tested, everything from him. He's saying he's using, someone says they use 5,000 milligrams a day. So you should definitely be talking to my friend Eric, because
or any other reputable
or anybody
CBD
that,
lab.
yeah,
I
any
mean,
lab.
because they shouldn't be selling it to you for more
So what
than.
should they be selling for a kilo or a half a kilo?
If you're buying it by the kilo, you should be able to go on any forum or cold call any reputable CBD lab, and they'll ship you a single kilo, maximum 600, 650. If you're buying more than 1 kilo, you can get it down to less than $500. So basically,
Okay, so if you were going to buy a half a kilo, how much do you say? Because obviously, the more you buy, the more you're going to save everybody. So
at least $1 a gram. So you know, you could probably buy a half kilo for 500, and at that point, it's like we'll buy a full kilo for 500. I mean,
yeah, really.
I mean, really,
Exactly.
if anybody's selling it to you bulk, like if you're buying more than, let's say 28, if you're buying like maybe 28 grams and less, you could sell for a couple dollars a gram, make it worth your time to ship and bottle up or whatever. But like if you're buying even like 100-gram minimum, if somebody's charging you more than $1 or $2 a gram, I mean, it's just they're kind of ripping you off. I mean, a lot of people, that might not be worth their time to do, but I mean, as someone like me who's got kilos of CBD sitting around, if somebody was like, hey, can I pay you a couple dollars a gram for an ounce or 100 grams or whatever? I mean, whatever. I still make a little money.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
I mean, I give away a shit ton.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, don't everybody hit me up asking for free shit, but I mean, we still donate like so much.
It's surprising. Like it's a foot in the door with a lot of people to talk about cannabis. Like people will try it and they'll be like, oh, okay, it wasn't so bad. Now, what else you got? You know, what else is there? Like it opens that door. And I don't really necessarily agree with straight up just CBD isolate. I kind of agree with the full spectrum, but I get the full spectrum over here. You know, I'm getting it. I'm introducing it all. I'm also using the CBD for my dog. But my dog also gets some of my cannabis. She gets some cannabis with the actual coconut oil. Somebody in chat, speaking of coconut oil, somebody said, does anybody else get anxiety from MCT oil? That was a question in chat. Eric, have you heard of that?
Anxiety from MCT?
Yeah.
I'm not sure I've heard of that before. Do they mean anxiety from tinctures? Because, and I don't know if this is what they're asking, so this might not be a good answer, but if I do edibles and a tincture is an edible, you know, you're metabolizing the delta 9 into 11-hydroxymetabolite. And for me personally, I don't do edibles all the time. So when I do, my tolerance for the 11-hydroxy just isn't there as much. And I can get, you know, pretty high, and it's a different high. And sometimes that causes anxiety. But MCT oil alone personally has not given me anxiety.
Yeah. So I would be
curious. I mean, at least not when I put it in my mouth.
Yeah, so I would be curious to know if you've tried the same amount in one oil versus another, or if it could have been lecithin. What is the one?
Lecithin.
Lecithin. That could also be an active ingredient in some of those things. Some people are weird, have weird digestive systems to that. I've heard some people have had problems with that, but it could have been the kind. I don't know. There's so many people that have so many health issues and digestive issues and so many things going on in here that I don't want to like tell you out there to try something if you don't really check things out or tell you the wrong. Yeah, you got to know your own body, listen to your body, try things differently, but don't introduce so much at the same time. Don't change 20 things at the same time. It's just like when you're working with your plant, you don't throw 20 fertilizers at it and see what you're never going to know which one takes. Just like your body, you don't throw 20, herbs at it to see what works. I know
MCT
that mushrooms help.
Also,
I know that cannabis helps. Go ahead, Eric.
It's a laxative. So, I mean, if you're having more than a couple drops of MCT oil, if you're having like multiple teaspoons of MCT oil, and then you go out in public, you might crap your pants, and that would make me pretty anxious. I'm mostly joking. I mean, but it is a laxative. Like you don't want to have a bunch of it.
All oils can be a laxative, though. In fact,
yeah, pretty much. I mean, you're oiling up your system. I mean,
it's also good for your skin, though. You know, it really is. Oils and fats are good for your body. You should eat fats. You should eat real fats. You should be the real intense fats. You know, I believe in fats. I think fats are great.
My wife just got her hair cut the other day, and they gave her a tea tree oil treatment on her hair. And for the last like 3 or 4 days, her hair's been so soft, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah. Oils on your hair are amazing. Yeah. I put lots of oil. Shea butter. I love just plain shea butter. It's amazing.
Yeah, those
too.
products do a ton. We did have a couple just comments in chat wondering. Do you have any?
I was gonna bring up a thing. So Eric, you guys, you can go onto his website, and Eric does ship to Canada and all of that. But I was kind of gonna throw out something. If someone is interested in they'd like to try a couple grams of CBD. I have a whole bunch of these empty little containers. And I will fill some of this up and send that out for you if you'd like to try some. But you have to pay for shipping. But I will put it in this and send it out to you if you'd like to try some. If there's a few of you that would like to try some, I would donate some to the chat here. So any of you that are interested, please contact me on Instagram. Or leave a comment after this video. I'll try and get back after this video. It's really hard to get back after these videos and keep up because YouTube's not very good at notifying. It's just kind of clumsy. I also have a Discord. I'm going to go ahead and throw the Discord out today so you can contact me on Discord. We don't have it all set up yet. We're really working on Discord. I know some of you really have been wanting and anxious to get on Discord. So it's in the works. We're doing all this for free. We're doing it on a little time off, and I have some people working on the back end for me, so I can't expect them to work on it if they don't have time. So please be patient with us on this Discord, but I think it's also another really nice way that we're going to be able to communicate with people and stay in contact with you. Also, you can email me at tirelylive@gmail.com, by the way. How's best to people contact you, Drake? What would you like people contact you as? Drake also has CBD up there. I know he also purchased some from FarmX. Go ahead, Eric or Drake.
You can find me at Drake KO4. And that was mainly Instagram, I guess. Mainly Instagram. I'm on Facebook and stuff as well, but I'm a bit more active and alert on IG. And I'm not the best anywhere. I'm usually in the garden. So find me in my garden. And if you don't find me in the garden, then maybe Instagram or Facebook.
Awesome. Love it. Fabulous. By the way, I wanted to have a little little chat with you all, everybody in chat. You go to some of these channels and everybody gets modded up. It's no offense that I don't mod everybody up. The reason I don't mod everybody up, it's to me, it's because people don't realize that you can go back, anybody that's modded up on a channel, you can go back and erase any of the comments that anybody's made. And it's super hard to keep track of that. I don't think people realize what it really means to be a mod on some of this stuff. The reason I have mods, and I really appreciate the mods that I have, so I'm giving a shout out to my mods that I have. They help me post links. They help remind people to keep it up on live chat, not top chat. And I trust them for things that they're going to say in chat. I trust them for comments. I trust them to welcome people. I trust them to be nice to you. They're like a host. So it's super important to me that the people that I mod up, I do respect you, and it's not that I don't dislike you if I don't mod you up. If you think you should be a mod on my channel and you think you'd like to help me post links and you want to help promote us, I would gladly mod you up if you would like to help us do that. So let me know, contact me. I don't want to make it, exclusive only. Ooh, where's Drake got there?
I was looking for this for the last 3 minutes, and it was literally just tucked in right behind my tushy.
Oh, so, should we go for a dab? I'm ready for a dab.
It's dab time. I'm telling everyone to fire up. So.
Okay. Where did we leave Eric? Eric coming back?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. Sorry. I stepped away for a second, but I still have my
okay.
microphone.
Okay. I didn't know if you'd left or what we got going on. So, Eric, what else do you think we need to know today?
Oh boy. What else do I have going on? I don't know. What do you want to know about?
Anybody got any questions for Eric? Oh gosh, I don't know. What is your favorite cannabinoid and terpene today? It might be something different tomorrow. What is it today?
Oh man, I love me some. I've been into gassy stuff recently, but I've been craving some limonene. I've been craving something really, really lemony.
Okay, now when people say gassy, what terpene profile is that?
There is a couple different ones that attribute to it. A lot of people kind of think of myrcene as gassy, and then terpinolene can kind of give like that boat fuel smell. And then beta caryophyllene can help add to that smell as well. So typically when I'm thinking gassy, it's pretty high in terpinolene and then followed up with myrcene, beta caryophyllene, and then maybe some other more robust notes. Maybe some like, I don't know, humulene or alpha bisbolol.
When you say myrcene, could that be beta myrcene?
Yeah, that's typically
Okay.
beta myrcene.
Beta myrcene. Okay, I want to make sure I'm getting these terpenes correct and the right pronunciations because I'm really wanting to. Yeah,
you know,
ahead.
I don't even know if I'm pronouncing everything right. I mean,
and that's a good point you make too. Just because you mentioned you had I think it was an alpha pinene you had the other day, and maybe a beta pinene the time after. So Eric, do you have any pointers to make when dealing with say an alpha or a beta of the same terpene?
I mean, from my experience, the alpha pinenes, the bit more like sharper pine sol, like car freshener one that you'll get, and the beta pinene's a little more muted and maybe with a little more spearmint type aftertaste. But I've also had it isolated from a couple different people, and you never really know. Sometimes it's a little different. I don't know if that's oxidation or where it came from. I think I might have just had my Bluetooth die. Let's see.
And on that note, it's just us dabbing. He must have hit the wrong button,
Cheers.
dropped off or something. So I hope everyone else gets to sneak in a rip or medicate
Welcome,
some ways.
everybody.
But here we go. I'll let him back in. Perfect timing. I've been enjoying this so far.
Great
Eric, you're back. We got you back. You scared us.
Woo! Dab up. I got to reheat that one. Cooled off too much.
Man, now you guys are so quiet. What happened?
Oh, I don't. Well, we can hear you.
I've got my phone volume all the way up.
I don't know.
Oh, I fixed it.
There you go.
Had
okay.
My top corner volume was X'd out. It's weird that I could still hear you a little.
That's happened on my end too. And I'm like, I exited, like I have no volume. Why can I still hear this person speaking? But yeah, it just comes in uber quiet. It's pretty confusing when you don't notice and you have something else going on, like a meeting with Tara, and then you're like, who is talking in the background so quietly? And yeah, and then it's just you have another thing going.
Oh my God, that's funny.
Chat on chats, chat squared, chatception.
Woo! How's everybody doing in chat? That was an awesome dab. What have I got going on today? I am going to go out and finish planting. I have I have a new doctor. I'm going to my medical marijuana doctor on Tuesday, y'all. So I'll follow you up on Wednesday, let you know how that went. I hate doctors. Absolutely hate doctors. Super freaked out. But Drake helped me find this one. Hopefully this is going to be a good one. So wish me good vibes, y'all, because I'm going to need them on Tuesday.
Well, sending them your way. I'm sure it'll work out great and you'll be all covered. And it's silly that you have to go through all these hoops for it anyways when you're so clearly benefiting from it. But hey, for now, we'll do what we can and keep fighting. So it gets easier and easier for everyone that's dealing with even harder conditions than yourself still, because it's sad. Around the world, some of the conditions people still have. And even like, you know, we mentioned last year, like Canada here, it's pretty well federally good to go. But when you start going super far north, there's still a lot of discrimination and shit going down that shouldn't. So it's still worldwide that we have to keep battling and uniting and being a community as we are.
Thanks, Drake. Absolutely. And thanks everybody again for being here. I love y'all. It's just awesome hanging out with you. It just starts off my morning so good and my week, you know, I get like halfway through the week and I get to hang out with y'all again. It's just awesome. And Drake, we hang out regular. I would like to throw out a link for you guys, maybe next Wednesday after chat. If we don't have anything going on, maybe we'll throw a Zoom link out after chat and see if anybody wants to hang out. Today, I would love to hang out with you, Al. But I have got to go start some JMS because I got to get some JMS on those plants I got planted out there and got to get that going. Eric, Drake, let's let Drake, do you have any final words to say today? Or you got to tune in on what you're doing or your garden update?
Oh,
yeah. And then Eric can let us know what he's got going on.
Doing some trellising, got the flower room that's going to be flipping over. I'm just letting it veg a little longer. I wasn't planning on letting it veg at all, but I was like, yeah, heck, why not? Let it go so I could trellis it a little bit nicer. The veg room itself is doing pretty well. It's almost skin and bones and skeletons in there. So I'm just cleaning it up and got a couple plants going, a few clones, and going to pop some new gear. So I'm real excited for that. And yeah, Eric, you around? You close by still?
I'm here.
Beautiful. We did have some questions. Well, just one specifically, and that was more just talking about, because I'm not sure where we're at as far as all the regulations and everything. I know CBD is generally good everywhere, but there's still some confusion as far as getting it certain places. We've had a few people just saying that it doesn't specify on the site whether or not that's something that could be making its way to Canada or not, or if in turn you had a few suggestions for reputable dealers in Canada or
the CBD specifically.
CBD, yeah, for CBD specifically, they're asking.
So, whenever we've had retail orders of CBD come through, we've sent them with little to no problem. Mostly, it's like terpenes that we send internationally. We're more than happy to try it. I don't think we've had any issues in so far, but I do know that Canada has more expensive CBD there. And one of the reasons is they try to keep it all in their hemp program, which I think is just kind of to keep the money in the hands of the Canadian farmers. And I guess that's good for the farmers, but I don't think that's really fair to the people who need the CBD. But I think that's also more on like the bulk side of things. I think just like a retail CBD product, I don't think that's going to cause any issues with Health Canada, who you have to get an import permit from if you wanted to do large amounts. So if you did want a kilo or something, that might be an issue. If you wanted like small retail amounts, I'm under the impression it's a non-issue.
Well, there we go. It sounds like it's worth a shot in the least then. So
yeah, especially terpenes. Terpenes should be a non-issue. The CBD stuff also should not be an issue, but
yeah. Terpenes specifically, you said you've had some fantastic results so far. There hasn't been too many places where you've come across many return issues.
So when we do get terpenes kicked back to us, it's typically not because they're a cannabis-derived product as much as they don't like dealing with liquids. And we had one place say that it was because they were flammable. But that's typically not retail amounts. It's typically if I'm sending like 250 mils or a liter or something of terpenes, somehow they know there's liquid in there. So okay. they don't like dealing with liquids.
Right on.
But retail terps, typically no issue. And then we've got all sorts of places in Europe we send CBD to, like pretty large amounts. I send 5 or 10 kilos a week to Estonia and Austria. And sometimes it gets kicked back, but that's typically on like the UPS side of things. It's typically just like I didn't have all the right paperwork in order.
Right on. Well, yeah, that's exactly what we were rooting for. So thank you for
that
down for us.
So one more question for you before we go. I want to start asking people, where do you see this going in 5 years, or where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Where do I see this being the whole cannabis and hemp industry as a whole?
However you want to answer it. I'm going to let people take it however they want to answer it.
Well, I mean, I definitely see hemp and cannabis probably merging a little, and I see federal legalization potentially happening. And if that happens, you've got nationalized brands, and trademarks and copyrights can do a whole lot more, and import and export could change, and then we're going to have people scaling up more, so we'll see changes in equipment as well. So I think the next 5 years, maybe a little longer, is going to get pretty crazy. I mean, Mexico's coming online too. I think it'll be a lot more like Alcohol. And I mean, we saw the craft beer industry change from the 90s to today, and now there's craft beer companies selling their brand off to multinational conglomerates for $1 billion. I think the next 5 years is going to be pretty crazy. I don't think it's too late to jump in, especially, I mean, depending on what state you're in or what country you're in or what languages you speak. But I think billions, not even, like hundreds of billions, maybe trillions of dollars are going to be moving into this industry over the next couple of years. It's going to be interesting. And I don't even think we could predict all the changes and advances we're going to see in terms of, genomics and tissue culture and extraction methods and distribution. I think, one of the next Lyft or Uber Eats is going to be a cannabis type delivery service. It's going to be big. So buckle up. And yeah, I mean, shit's going to get crazy. Terpenes are going to be a lot more accessible. I think solventless, options will be a lot more accessible. We will be growing giant, hemp field size THC fields. And I mean, we might even be brewing cannabinoids in vats with yeast at a commercial scale at that point. I mean, look where we've come in the past 5 years.
Exactly, right?
I mean, since Oregon, Washington, Alaska, Colorado all came online, which might even be leaning closer to 10 years than 5 years at this point. Time flies, kind of hard to keep track of it all. But we've seen some major advancements in the industry, in the processing, and the distribution and the regulation and the finances. I mean, 5 years ago, did we have cannabis on the stock market in Canada or the US?
Right? How crazy that roller coaster has been. Holy.
And like Drake and I were just talking about moments ago, 5 years ago, CBD was $30,000 a kilo. 2 years ago, most of the cannabinoids I'm working with were $15,000 to $30,000 a kilo. And now, not only have those dropped to the point where almost anybody can just buy a kilo with their, personal money, there's other new cannabinoids we're working with that people weren't talking about 5 years ago. More countries have come online. I mean, we've got legal import and export of hemp products, and between places like Canada and Israel and Australia and parts of Europe, I mean, they're sending actual THC back and forth.
Pretty exciting.
It's hopefully pretty exciting.
Goes the right direction, but I'm not extremely worried overall. We've got some really positive and forward-looking things coming, specifically where I live here in BC, Canada. So I'm hoping it can kind of just keep continuing its way out and make it worldwide. So eventually, like you're saying, all these things can come to fruition.
I'd like to see it. We'll have some big changes.
It's awesome.
I'll be a part of it. That's for sure.
Awesome.
Oh yeah. And like I said, it's not too late if you're just listening and wanting to get into the industry in one way, shape, or form. There's a lot of growth, so you can still get in on the ground floor, essentially.
But it takes time. It takes time to work your way up, and passion. And if it's not about the money, if you have true passion, it'll be something for you. But if it's just about the money, it's going to be a quick grab. You're not going to get rich real quick on this business. And
you got to be
you're in for the long haul, aren't
as
you?
A whole.
Yeah.
You got to be passionate about it as a whole, because for me, I came out, 7-8 years ago, passionate about, cannabis as a whole. But now I've got, 5 or 6 different small, businesses essentially that I'm running. And if I just stuck with one specific thing, there's been too many changes since I've come out here. I wouldn't be able to be doing the same thing I was doing. Being said, my network's been the same. My market's been, it's all grown, but like, I'm still working with the same people I was 5 or 7 years ago, just in different capacities, just because you got to keep up with it, going from medical to rec and this to that. And, it's just, you can't stick with one thing too long. You got to be able to pivot and grow with the market, just because it's changing and growing so fast. but don't let that scare you. And you don't have to have $1 million license and get a huge recreational grow. You know, you could buy a kilo of CBD and make products out of like a pretty easy to license facility, or you could sell, you know,
Speaking of which,
metaphorical pick and shovel. You sell freeze dryers.
Eric, wasn't that what we were talking about the other day? Like the right now and the hemp right now, there's not a hemp regulating
in Washington,
regulator in Washington state right now.
Yeah, in Washington, you need a license to grow it, but there's no state entity that licenses or oversees
regulating
hemp
or overseeing
processing in the state of Washington.
Yeah.
So in the state of Washington, depending on what product you're making, because if it's an edible product, you still need a food processing license, which you could get on an RV or a home, you know, if you hit all the right, you know, things.
Just a health card.
And it's a health, yeah. So and then you would be able to make CBD cookies, CBD tinctures, you know, do what we were just talking about the future did, make a 10,000 or 100,000 milligram, you know, mason jar of coconut oil. And, you know, it doesn't even have to be consumables. You could make artwork or graphic designs or do what, you know, people like Tara are doing and start doing interviews and building a channel that'll eventually, you know, be able to profit off of one way or another, even if that's not Tara's goal in building the community. You know, that's what
some people are like
do.
Some people you can go on there and promote products. Lots of people are making money on that. There's lots of things. You're absolutely right. Lots of people can do that.
So there's, you know, find a problem, create a solution, and and then just build your idea and your network. But there's still plenty of room, and there's still opportunities for small people to get in, which is not the same in the pharmaceutical industry or the alcohol industry. Or, you know, there's maybe to an extent you could create small businesses and sell picks and shovels and do all sorts of other ancillary things for any business. But it's just this one's still growing so fast and changing so rapidly that there's, in my opinion, much more opportunity for somebody to jump in with nothing more than passion and time.
I agree.
Awesome. I love it. I agree with it. That's great. Eric, well, I hope you come back and chat with us again. I don't want to keep you any longer.
We're going to have to have you back
an hour. Yeah, we'll have you back.
After I watch that video and get your feedback.
Yeah. I need to go watch that. I'm sure we can have a whole nother conversation about that. I'll take notes.
I'd love to.
Wait.
And thanks again, everybody, for being here. And Eric, what's the best way everybody find you and get a hold of you?
You can hit up my Instagram page or my email address, which is farmex710@gmail.com.
Thanks everybody again for being here, man. It's been an awesome pleasure hanging out with you all. I just love it. I love hanging out with y'all on Wednesdays and Saturday mornings again at 9. And this Wednesday, I think we have Sarah Russo coming on, right, Drake? It's this Wednesday. Yeah, 9:00. So that's going to be super fun. I know a few of you are going to want to be here for this, a comic strip gal. It'll be really fun to talk to another female in the industry and hang out with her.
Run business.
Yeah,
another semi one. Right term, but
yeah, but a little bit more women in the industry. I love. I was on the panel the other night on Fumidors, and I hung out a little bit with Miss Jill, and got to meet her for the first time. Not face to face, but kind of face to face, like we're doing here. And I would really like to support more of the women in the community. It'd be nice to see more women out there, and I will definitely work on getting more women interviews in here.
Let me know. I work with like almost exclusively women, not by choice. It's just kind of worked out that way.
I'm putting you on the spot. It's your job to bring in the next guest when we need one, and we're having a woman interview.
We'll get you Carla K from Skunk Farm.
We'd love that.
Let's do it. Okay, we're gonna do that, guys. You heard it. We got it right here on live. It's recorded. We're sticking you to it, Eric. All right, y'all. Have a fabulous day. As always, peace and love.